Welcome back to part 2 of this first exercise on solids, where we're working with page 64. So we set up the question and then drew the sectioned top view. Now we are going to try and draw the sectional side view and then the true shape. Okay, so I've gone and done some work ahead for the sake of time, and it's not stuff that I really should have to explain, but remember, always use numbers and letters. So when I project lines, in this case from the top view to the 45 and up, some of the numbers kind of switch compared to the front view. So you'll see now that 6 has moved to the side, and then I had 1 and 5, 2 and 4, and 3 on the end. Okay, so that's just your normal projection stuff. That's grade 10 level work. And then my 0 for my apex over there. And so I've lightly drawn in what is the side view of the hexagonal prism, and the hidden detail over here shows the side view of the hexagonal pyramid, or that pyramid shaped hole. Okay, you'll also notice that, remember, whenever you're dealing with hexagons, you can either see 2 faces or 3 faces, and the 2-face surface or view is always slightly narrower than the 3-face one, which is a bit wider. You can see it's wider than that. Okay, so let's get started. It's the same concept, the same principle that we used in order to do the top view. We'll use that to do the side view. And really, grade 12s, that's what it's all about. I keep saying this in class. It's about concepts, it's about principles. If I do this one video and you learn to just understand the concept behind this, okay, the fact that letters just project directly across or down and then hit that number, and that's where they're going to be for that view, etc. You can then take that and apply it into any other question. Okay, we could then just replace this exact question with a pentagon instead of hexagon, and you should be able to do it because you've understood the concept. All right, so please try your best to, even if you have to do this exact same drawing more than once, 2, 3 times, but eventually it'll go into your brain, you'll start to understand how it's done, and then you can apply that knowledge to the other questions and you'll be able to do them. Okay, so let's go here. Now, start with A. A comes across. We know that A is on the bottom here somewhere, all right? But this is kind of like the problem we had with B in the previous video, trying to find in the top view. A we know is on the bottom, but where on the bottom? Well, then we can, because we've already got this top view, you can work between projecting points either directly from that front view or from the top view. Okay, we've got more than one option. So A is on point 4 and 5. A is on point 5 and 4, and it's on the bottom. So A just simply has to be here and here. Okay, so there, on the bottom, 4 and 5, that's A. Easy. Now, we move on to B. Okay, so I'm going to draw a horizontal construction line across. And be careful with B now, because the same as what we did in the top view, we have B applying to the prism and applying to the pyramid. So you can actually see, remember, in the top view, we've got 2 B's for the prism, 2 B's for the pyramid. So there's actually 4 B's all together. Okay, so just look at it. Let's do the pyramid first. In that case, B is on 3 and 6. Okay, so now 3 and 6 are on the sides of the pyramid. So when it comes across, I would have a B here and a B there on 3. Let's find the B's that are applicable to the prism. They are on line 3 and 6 at that level. So they are literally there and there on the sides. Okay, so see how things correspond. I mean, we had 4 B's here all in a straight line. What have I got in the side view? 4 B's in a straight line. That's simple. Now let's go and get point C. Point C only applies to the pyramid. Okay, remember, it had nothing to do with the prism, and it is on line 1 and 3. So once again, your numbers and letters are so important when you're doing these. There's 1 and 2 coming up, but it's at this level over here. So there's C and there's another C. Okay, no C for the prism part, it's not applicable. And then Point D, remember, only applies to the prism, but doesn't have anything to do with your pyramid. Again, it's similar to how we had to find A. We know D's at the very top of the prism, but where on those lines? Well, then what you can do is look at your top view to help you out, and rather just take D. So I'll try and make those a little bit darker so you can see what's happening there. So D simply has to go to your 45 and up to the top. Okay, so you'll see there D comes across to 45 up to the top. There's one D, there's a D 45 to the top. There's your other D. Okay, all the letters are now accounted for. I've got 2 A's, 4 B's, 2 C's, 2 D's, the same as what I had there. I haven't lost anything, I haven't gained anything, so it must be fine. Okay, so let's go and now put in our answer. Okay, remember I said that it is totally fine to go and join up your letters with a solid line, because that is just going to be the answer. But always remember though that these letters, one set is kind of for the pyramid and one is for the prism. Let me do the pyramid first. So the same as with the top view, and you're actually getting a very similar shape. I'm going to go A, B, C to C. Okay, so there's that cut sort of indent from the pyramid, very similar to the shape there. That's also something you'll pick up, is that the shape's always similar. They don't change very much. Whereas now for the prism, I'm also going to start on A and go to B though. And then remember, there's no C in the prism because it didn't apply to it. So I'm going around those letters that are for the prism. And I get that shape. And notice the shape is very similar to what we had in the top view. It's not exactly identical, but it's a similar shape, okay? And that's actually going to be the hatched surface, the one which has got all the letters in a shape like this. But the drawing is not finished, okay? We must now think, if I'm looking at the side view, in other words, the left side view, I'm looking from the left in this direction. Okay, left. Remember, the rule is remove whatever's in the way of the cutting plane. So in other words, I don't really want to do this, but this whole piece here is getting taken off so that you can now see the cut surface. And then that is what we have just completed, the cut surface. However, remember, there are still these other surfaces of the pyramid and prism which still exist. Okay, and that's what we need to fill in. So let's look at this. From B to 6 and 3, okay, it still exists. And from even A to 6 and 3. And look what that is. It's these triangles over here. So in other words, B to 6 on this side, B to 3 on the other side. They're like the same thing, mirror of each other. And I can actually just go and put I'm going to put the whole bottom here in solid so you can see it. Okay, so there's a triangle, there's a triangle. That is actually this triangle now, which still exists. Can you see it? It's A, B, and down to 3 and 6. So it's A, B, down to 6 on this side, A, B, down to 3 on that side. Very easy. Okay. Then that's actually the prism stuff completed. But something else happens here now. We actually need to check this out carefully. With the pyramid, because I've cut this and taken a piece off, see, you've now taken part of the pyramid, like the whole of it, off, and you've opened up that gap, okay? So in other words, if this is the outermost whole of the pyramid, I can't then, if I'm going to go start filling in hidden details, I can't have a hidden detail line in an open area. Okay, remember, hidden detail always has to be enclosed. So what's actually happening is this A line that travels across to the apex over here, so that line continuing to the apex, okay, it's been opened up. I'm sorry, I'm actually mistaken. It's the C line. The C line over here, which is going to 1 and 2, it's the one that when I'm looking at the left side view now, I can see that line over there. So C to 1 and 2. And that's what I'm going to now have to draw in over here. You see, from C to 1 and 2, they change from being hidden detail into a solid line because this hole is like open it up and now you can see on the inside. Okay. And then what you can go and do is because they wanted hidden detail, is to say to yourself, you know what? Does B to 3 and B to 6 still exist? Yes, they do. So you can go and put those lines in as well in hidden detail now though. Okay, so there's the whole pyramid. Okay, those still exist. But you'll notice there I had some hidden detail lines over here going from B and C to the apex. But look, if I remove this piece over here, the B's and the C's to the apex there, it's gone. The whole apex, it's gone. So that's why I don't even bother now. Those are left there in construction. I don't go fill those in dark. I am missing some other hidden detail lines. Okay, so let me go and fill those in before I forget here. And that has to do with the prism. Okay, so it's very easy to forget about these types of lines and then lose those marks. But if I'm looking at the left side view, so I'm looking this direction, numbers 1 to 1 and 2 to 2 still actually do exist as well. Okay, so that's those lines over here, there and there. So I need to go put that hidden detail in, which is just 1 to 1 and 2 to 2. And that's going back to the prism. Okay, so sorry, I didn't finish the whole prism there properly. Okay, and then remember to do your hatching. For the sake of time again, I'm just doing it freehand. You must use neat 45-degree, equally spaced, tone lighter hatching. And it's only between the lettered areas, please, only between the lettered areas that the hatching will be. Okay, so there is the side view. I see that we've taken a bit of time to do that, so I'm going to pause the video again and do the true shape in a final last video.